Good afternoon, 4-H families. This is Mike Coffey, 4-H specialist in Newton, McDonald, and Barry counties. I'm here to show you today how to make a bluebird house. And specifically what makes it unique to bluebirds is the size of the opening. So hopefully you've had a chance to look at the plans that are included with this video as a document file. And it'll talk to you about the importance of the size of that opening as well as all of the other dimensions that you're going to need to be prepared to cut. Now, a word to our 4-H youth that construction of this project involves using either hand or power tools, either which can be dangerous. And so you really cannot do this project unless you have help from an adult. So please do not plan on working on this project without the assistance of an adult to help you and make sure that you're safe. As you do this work, not only practice safety, keeping your fingers away from the saw blades, whether hand or power, out of drill bits, but please plan on making sure that you wear some kind of eye protection. Now, for the birdhouse that I made, since it's one that my wife is wanting as well, we are making it out of cedar. And cedar loves to throw chips and splinters, sawdust, and so the eye protection was really important as I was working on this. So I'm going to pause the video for just a second and reverse my camera and walk you through a little bit of where I am right now. So where we are right now, again, this is the plan that should be available as a document file, and it's actually 2 pages. One has all the parts that you need. Second part has some interesting information. You're going to notice on the cutout plans that it's going to show here an 1.5 inch opening. The text file on the second page will talk to you about that if you make it any bigger than that, birds other than bluebirds can possibly start making use of your bird box, and possibly even squirrels, which, you know, squirrels have enough fun and enough opportunities to make home for themselves. And so please plan on following that procedure as well. Now on the bluebird box right now, I've got it temporarily put together so that you all can see some things that I've done and I'm suggesting. I'm putting mine together with interior exterior drywall screws or deck screws. I'm using 1.25 inch long, and then as you can see on the shots that I'm doing, I've counter drilled so that all of my screws will come up flush, so that there's not going to be any screw heads sticking out. Now, one of the things you're going to have to do to drill these holes is you're going to have to mark your wood anywhere where you're working to make sure that you put those holes in the right spot. Okay, so now I've broken the bird box back apart for the most part, and you can see here where I've drawn the lines to help me drill my initial holes to make sure that they're in the right spot and not going to stick out from either the inside or the outside of the wood that I'm screwing to. So hopefully you can see that we've got the back and the 2 sides, and you need to mark the placement not only side to side but top to bottom so that you have the placement that you're looking for. Here you can see the front of the birdhouse, and the hole is in the position that the plans indicate, approximately 2.25 inches to the center of that hole down from the top. Now again, building mine out of cedar, I have, it comes in pretty rough, and so I did an initial sanding just to take the worst of the roughness off, but this is going to be something that lives in the outdoors, so it doesn't really need to be all that terribly smooth. So I'm going to flip this over now so you can see the back, and you can see that I've done 3 screws on each side. Now if you're going to use nails, you can use nails. Just make sure you try and countersink those nails so that you have a nice smooth surface that's not going to hang up and scratch you or something else. Now one of the other things I'm going to do as I start putting this back together is I'm actually going to use some wood glue. I use a Titebond wood glue that's an interior exterior rated glue, and you can see that. It doesn't take much, so ultimately the screws are only going to have to hold things until the glue dries. All right, so I've got it broken completely apart at this point, so you can see the lines that I've drawn for where the 2 side pieces go. with my screw holes attending. And so now I'm going to go ahead and get some glue spread. All right, I've got my glue spread now, and you can see it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. Try not to use too much, otherwise it's going to come squishing out of your joints and wind up making a mess. I do have a damp paper towel here, just in case I do wind up making a mess, because I'm also working on our dining room table since it's pretty hot outside, and I can clean up any mess very quickly. Once wood glue dries, it's really hard to get off while it's wet. You can get it wiped up. All right, I've got the two side pieces screwed to the back again, and I wanted to show you that even with the small amount of glue I used, it wound up making a little bit of a mess. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here, just kind of wiping things down. Let's try and make things look a little nicer. All right, so you can see, and one of the things I've tried to do is to make sure that my sides here match up so it's nice and smooth. So now we're ready to screw the bottom in. All right, so the bottom is now in place, and you can see again I've made sure that it's smooth. So it's a nice transition right there. You'll see here how those clipped corners come into play. That's going to let water drain out in case you get any water that comes in to your birdhouse box, and so things don't get too terribly wet. So I'm going to drive the screws in here at this point. All right, so the bottom is now screwed in place for the final time, and now I'm going to work on getting the top screwed on. For me, I'm going to permanently attach the top, and I've made it such that I can take the front off in order to make it easier to clean out. Your plans are going to talk about having the top as being removable and permanently attaching the front. So your choice about how you do that, but every year you do need to clean out your birdhouse box to make room for new nests. All right, so there's the top attached, and actually I used the right amount of wood glue this time, so I don't even have any messes to clean up. So now I'm ready to attach the front. Again, this is something that you'll have to take apart every year in order to clean up your bird box. So on mine, notice if you have a chance that I beveled this edge just a little bit in order to make it fit a little tighter. You don't want it completely tight because you want that for ventilation. And here's our birdhouse put back together again for the final time. Now, depending on how you're planning on hanging it, you'll want to drill a hole at the top and maybe at the bottom in order to hang that. But we'll let you drill those for whatever fits your circumstances. But anyway, this plan was adapted from something that I found with the Missouri Department of Conservation. So they've got lots of neat woodworking ideas as well as the ideas that can be found in our 4-H curriculum. So 4-H families, hope you have a fun time building this project and enjoy your time together. Take care.